I basically developed interest in finance quite a while ago when I was actually running two companies. Actually, I was a CEO of two companies in India, and I used to manage the finances of the company. And one side of my interest developed in corporate finance when I used to look into the investment strategies that were required in order to increase the value of the firm, as well as the challenges that we were facing in order to raise capital for the firm. As a young entrepreneur, it is always a challenge for sourcing new capital for expansion purposes and other things. The other side, the financial market, I have always been an enthusiast in stock market trading. I used to have my own portfolio, and I should actually thank my one of my uncle who actually pulled me into this. And during that period where I was actually trading on the stock market, I used to be enthused by the fact that several factors influence the movement of the stock, and it is sometimes there is just no reason why the stock is moving in a particular way, even though we might try to argue various kind of economic factors and various type of other criteria which might have impacted. But the herding behavior and the sentiment itself can sometimes swing the stock to different extremes. So all these things actually gave me some kind of a motivation, I can say, to dive completely into the field of finance. I have been teaching when I used to run my company, and that always, was something which I really enjoyed. And after a few years, I decided maybe I should jump into academia full time, and that is how I, went ahead to do my PhD, and then came here to Ireland, DCU, and currently I am the program chair of MSc in Finance. Okay. When we talk about sustainability, or we talk about ESG, which is the most famous abbreviation these days, basically we are thinking mostly with respect to climate, right? And that is what we always think, that sustainability and ESG means something related to climate. But the terminology is much more broader than climate. When I normally teach theories in finance, we try to look at the most capitalistic approach, where we look at profit making, and what are the various decisions that a firm need to undertake in order to maximize their profit and wealth maximization and profit maximization. But we always forget the fact that whatever resources we are using in order to carry out our business activities, these resources are coming from somewhere outside, which is external to the firm. And this can be in the form of the natural resources that we are using as form of inputs, or when we are undertaking our production activity, there are some waste which is actually generated and which we are disposing of into the environment, into the water bodies. And we are also hiring people. People are coming and working. We need to provide them under the contract, the labor contract, we need to provide them some conducive atmosphere to work, and not discriminate between different laborers based on their ethnicity or gender or all these things. So when we are basically talking about sustainability, it includes a host of all these different factors. It is not just the climate, but also how we can maintain good governance within the organization, and how we can provide equal opportunities. Is the organization leading to ensuring that the health and the other benefits are provided to their employees? So these are some small aspects which were not really in the forefront in the past, where most of the business entities were just focused on profit maximization. As a very simple example, if you start a business and you have to hire two people, then you would want to hire only one person and make him work twice as much and pay him less. So is this something which is going to sustain over a long period of time? Okay, and is this ethical way of conducting your business? Now these are the aspects which are being challenged these days. Regulations are regulators are coming out with several regulatory reforms, some mandatory reforms in which they have to make some disclosures. So corporations are also, forced to adopt some of these strategies where they ensure that the practices are much more sustainable in nature. And that is where the current lot of MBAs or postgraduates who are looking for programs, uh, just not focusing on technical skills that they will acquire, but they will also have to look at what are the challenges in terms of sustainability, what are the challenges in terms of climate change which is happening happening these days, and what are the implications of these on their business, because these are what we call as the material impact. When an investor makes an investment in your firm, he tries to understand what are the various risk factors associated with the firm. So it is not just always the climate, or it is not just the financial aspects of decision making, but it can be an external factor like an extreme climatic condition, which might disrupt the supply chain, which may also disrupt the, say for example, if you are into wineries, then extreme climatic conditions can ruin the crop of the grapes, and it might have a negative impact on the production of wine. So there is some kind of an external influence and impact that is going to happen, right? We see all these things happening, and even if you are not looking into aspects of providing equal opportunities to labor, then there can be issues relating to labor laws, where then you will have some legal consequences and liabilities that your company might face. So these materiality impact need to be assessed, and this is where the new area of sustainability is trying to provide more inputs to the future managers, so that they can equip with these new skills in order to run their firms more effectively. If I take simply the challenge of the climate change itself, in the last so many years, the climate events, say for example, the temperature, or it may be the extreme rainfall condition or precipitation condition, are becoming much more frequent. The extreme nature of these, climatic events are becoming much more, frequent. Now, what happens normally, if we take a simple example, like in India, we have extreme monsoon, which is happening every year, and every year we see there is a lot of damage to the infrastructure, because of flooding. And when corporations and when the companies are, facing these kind of, physical risk associated with their assets, and then they will have to make additional investment every year. So simple things like their own insurance premium will also keep on, increasing, because the insurance companies now see the risk that these events are occurring in a much more frequently, and that is why they are no more kind of a tail risk kind of an event. So the insurance premiums go up. Okay, so running the corporations and in a normal way, the operation costs will actually start going up. This can have a huge financial implication for the firm. So it will disrupt the cash flows of the company. There will be more cash outflows, and then for making these additional investment to recoup all the damaged physical infrastructure again and again, will require the company to go out and raise additional capital in the form of either debt or in the form of equity, issuances. And these are not going to come cheap, because if a company is so sensitive to these climate events, then the financial firms, which are, say for example, a commercial bank which is going to lend, or maybe an insurance company which is going to insure these companies, they will sit up and they will take a note of this, right? See, because for them it is a cost that they will have to bear. So what will happen is the capital that is available for these corporations will become much more expensive. So once the cost of capital goes up, then the simple theory of finance tells the valuation of the company actually falls. And this will have long-term repercussions in the financial market itself. Look at mutual funds, which might be holding portfolio of all these stocks. Okay, so if the valuation of all these stocks within their mutual funds portfolio is shrinking, then the overall NAV value will also shrink, and that will have a big impact on the return on investments of all the local or the retail investors. So there is a trickle down effect. There is kind of a dominoes effect which can create, which can be one of the biggest risks that we'll be actually facing. On the other side, what we can see as a positive side, if you have to think about a positive side, these are now also giving us opportunities to take note of how we can conduct or how we can make investments which are much more sustainable. So there are strategies now which are adopted by these financial firms which try to assess these different type of risk, because I gave you the example of climate risk. So the companies might assess a portfolio, and they might do some stress testing, and they might try to understand what is the exposure of risk that they are having, with respect to the portfolio that they have invested. And they can reduce their exposure, and they can come out with strategies or hedging strategies which can help them to preserve the capital, or to protect the principal, or even to generate some additional returns based on these events that might occur. So, well, opportunities again, we can also see in the terms of new job profiles propping up, where new kind of skills are essential for the regular finance person, or maybe a regular MBA. They will require to acquire these new skills in order to navigate through all these sustainability and climate risk challenges. So, as a finance enthusiast, now the world is completely shifting, right? It is no more traditional way of looking into finance, where you are only looking at the risk and return perspective. But now the third dimension of ESG or sustainability has also come into play. So if you go out there in a market with just the traditional knowledge of finance, where you are able to understand the risk and returns from the basic traditional theoretical perspective, then your opportunities might get shunned over a period of time, because nowadays what is happening, because of a lot of regulatory requirements, especially because there is a lot of disclosure regulations which are promulgated across Europe, and even in India, like SEBI came out with several guidelines with respect to ESG disclosures recently. RBI also came out with certain guidelines for the banks to assess the climate related risk of their lending portfolios. So, as a financial analyst, you need to acquire these kind of skills. Now, within DCU, in the MSc in Finance program, we have a specific module which is called as sustainable finance, and within this sustainable finance, we teach the students several aspects of sustainability and climate risk. We not only bring in the theoretical we not only give them some theoretical knowledge, but also we teach them some practical skills as to how to assess portfolios based on ESG risk or the climate related risk. We also help them to build green portfolios. In the traditional portfolio management, whatever we study, this dimension of green or the ESG is not there. But what we normally do here in the sustainable finance module, when we are teaching, say for example, we have to create a green portfolio, then what are the various things that we need to keep in mind in order to assess each asset that we will be including within the particular portfolio, which will qualify as a green candidate to become one of the assets to be included within the portfolio. And we also teach them several other aspects of sustainability, the 17 SDG goals of the United Nations, and how these can be assessed, and what are the various databases which are out there. Say for example, like Bloomberg KLD, we have Refinitiv Icon, which provides various type of measures of ESG and how to use these measures of ESG, because there are academic papers which challenge these ESG scores which are provided by these different databases, because they don't really concur, or they don't really they don't have a high correlation between them. So if you become an analyst in a particular company where you have to maintain a green portfolio, or you need to come out with it, what are the skill sets that you need to know, and what are the limitations and shortcomings for that are there in the current scenario for you to come out with or building a particular portfolio, or coming out with a particular decision as to what kind of investments you need to make. So these kind of skill sets we are providing within the sustainable finance course. Now, apart from MSc Finance, in DCU Business School itself, almost all the programs as a part of our own objective and agenda for pushing the sustainability aspect, we actually promote the sustainability in most of the programs that we offer over here, starting from an MBA. We also have specific programs on sustainable aviation finance. We teach aviation management, and then we also look into some of the other programs where we include these sustainability aspects in the form of management in green technologies. That is a graduate program that we actually run. Now, apart from this, we also encourage MSc Finance students to take up a host of various certifications which are there, which are provided by the professional bodies, because whether we like it or not, both in accounting and finance, just a regular academic degree is not sufficient. They will have to acquire these additional professional certifications, either from the ACCA or from the CFA or from the GARP. They all run very specific certifications on climate risk, on sustainability, on ESG certifications, and we encourage strongly our students to take up these programs. In fact, in MSc in Finance, we are partnered with GARP, and GARP gives us scholarships every year for encouraging our students to take up their exams, and we also encourage them to take the SCR exam, certification from GARP. Then a couple of other things, like we also bring in industry experts who come and talk about sustainability and about climate change. We have a research center here, which is Climate and Society, and IIDB, which is also focused on sustainability, and where students who are interested can involve themselves with these research centers and take the research path rather than an industry path. Actually, in a big way, actually, technology and inculcating technology within the curriculum is one of the USPs of our programs that we offer here. A very recent study by CFA, which did a market survey and tried to assess what are the various new skills that are required by the upcoming finance graduates. They clearly identify that some skills which are relating to ESG, data visualization skills, data interpretation skills, data analytics and coding skills. These are very much in demand, and there is a shortfall of these skills within the finance community and the fresh graduates. And these are the things that we are trying to focus. Now, within the program itself, we are actually incorporating technical skills, where we teach the students how to use different data analytical tools, like it can be Python, it can be R, or a much more traditional Stata. And we also incorporate these within their dissertations, where they will have to use these different kind of data analytical tools in order to carry out their own research piece. We also have a virtual reality lab, in which we actually engage our students to in the VR labs, where they are put into the actual virtual reality, and we adopt this to teach them financial ethics, Actually, this is something that we experimented last time. We also have collaborated with some of the industry players like Amplify, who provide training on trading platforms, and these trading skills and trading platform will enhance our students technical skills, which will help them in their career itself. Now, a big part of our program, what we have included is financial technology, which is fintech. It's one of the most growing areas within the finance space, and you will see that a lot of automation happening, like you just now told about the AI and ChatGPT and the challenges of the open AI that is posed within the education community. I give an assignment, and students may just use a ChatGPT to write their assignment, but the challenges it brings with it also brings an opportunity, because then it also challenges the academics to create assignments which will either use these AI as part of the assessment tool, or try to come out with very innovative assessments which can exclude these AI. And we also have programs, as I told you, the financial technology. It's a specific module that we teach here in MSc in finance, and in fintech program, the students are exposed to the new emerging area of fintech, about crowdsourcing, about various other aspects of the financial technology. And we also are recently trying to promote a fresh postgraduate and an MSc program, which is completely focused on financial technology and data analytics. So there is a lot of things happening within the business school in order to provide these skill sets to our students. So just like I told, again, falling back on that survey which CFA actually conducted, some of the big skill gaps that they really have found out, figured, is in the areas of AI. It's almost a skill gap of 61%, AI and ML, which is machine learning, as well as in sustainability. Now, the third biggest skill set that they see the gap is in DeFi and in blockchain, and then in climate risk. You know, so now all these four top skill sets, which are having surplus demand, but there is no supply from in the market in terms of graduates, where there is this particular gap, a huge opportunity for our students to acquire these skill sets, and get into companies which require these particular skill sets. So I see the job profiles more and more these days. We are looking into, especially within the sustainability space. If I see skill sets, like they should have skill sets relating to TCFD, which is task force on climate related disclosure, and there are various other regulatory frameworks like the GRI and others. We encourage students to do these certifications, because large companies, especially because now there is a transition happening to net zero, and most of these new regulations are requiring these financial companies and institutes, and also corporations. Why only financial institute and this one? Even corporations, under the recent directive of corporate sustainability reporting directive, which is going to be enforced from 2024. Companies like an MBA graduate, he should be aware of these upcoming legislations, because we cannot run businesses without understanding what are the new laws and regulations with respect to sustainability, what are the challenges that are faced by the AI and automation. So these are the things that these are the skills that the fresh graduate should acquire. And one of the most important skill set they should always have, which basically nobody can teach, is a sense of foresight. They need to see what can come in the future, with small cues that they pick up from the market, and with small innovations that are happening within the market, exposing themselves to these kind of things and understanding what are the challenges which are going to come in the future. If I can take a very simple example, a lot of things happening within the robotics. right? We see, on the YouTube and others, where Japanese, coming out with robotic, within the restaurants, they are actually having robots, who are actually doing the service and other things. So now, what could happen in the future, where if you're running a company which is labor intensive with this open AI, companies like, if you're running an IT company, the first level of jobs are all under threat, because all the first level job can be automated, right? So we see now, if you're calling, once upon a time you call a banker, then there is somebody who is attending a call and talking to you. But now everything is automated. You have a automated chat, which tries to intelligently understand your question and give you an intelligent answer, and most of the time you're happy with that particular answer, and you don't require a person behind the call to actually address your grievance, right? So many of these kind of jobs will get automated, and these are also the challenges. As a businessman, I may feel, okay, I will automate everything and my cost will be less, but where is the capital going to come from, and what is the innovation that is going to challenge you? Okay, because when there are more and more innovation that is going to happen in the future, all your product and your services will start becoming obsolete, so your product life cycle will also become shorter and shorter. So that means your own cost of running your operations will become much more expensive, right? So there are several challenges, which can be posed. If you want to become an entrepreneur, or if you want to get into the job market, you have to have the skill sets which are in demand. And at the moment, in demand skill sets are very, very, very clear. It is skill sets on sustainability and ESG risk, skill set on AI and ML, skill set relating, if you want to get into a little bit technology side, DeFi and blockchain technology. So all these are essential skill sets, both from the corporate and from the finance, industry point of view, that a student need to acquire. And these are the areas which will provide them opportunities, where recently Microsoft also announcing, large pay packages for AI experts. So this is going to change. So many things are going to change, and if you acquire these skill sets, then definitely you will be up for the game. Like I said, one of the most important quality is foresight. Okay, now this is quite difficult for anybody to teach, how to look ahead into the future, but there can be ways in which, the module lecturer or professors, or your mentors can actually help you and guide you in identifying these cues, different kinds of cues, and guiding you to navigate through what is happening in the present world, and trying to pick up all these cues, and then to evaluate whether which of these cues are important and which are not so important, which of these cues require a constant follow up, in order to understand how these cues are evolving over a period of time. All these things are much more macro in nature, and much more, which is something which I think so, a good leader will have to actually develop, to assess the future, and to ensure, because once you understand what is there in the future, then all the other decisions, the strategic decisions that you are going to take, will follow that particular cue, right? So all the risk that you are going to take as a leader, you always need to take risk, because if there is no risk, there is no innovation, and if there is no innovation, there is no value creation. And in order to innovate, in order to create this value, you need to understand what is that which is going to be in demand in the future, what are the challenges that we may face in the future. So if you are able to understand these cues of the future, then I think so you will be one of the excellent leaders who can actually navigate through the challenges and opportunities which will be faced by the organization, and take the organization to bigger heights. The second most important skill for a leader, I think so, is managing employees. Very, very important. Even though now we can look at leaders from different within an organization at different levels. It can be a smaller team where you are a team leader. Then you need to manage your people, right? Because you need to get the best out of the people. And when you can create a conducive environment of work, then people will be willing to go out of their way in order to contribute to the organization's success or the team success. Or if you're a leader who is managing a particular department, or you're a department manager, then you need to ensure that adequate resources are available to the resources to carry on their activities, without much hurdle. And you need to identify people who are ambitious. That is also important, right? So it is not just you are leading the team, but you also recognize who could become the leader and give them additional opportunities. And a good leader always makes more leaders, and that is how you can use the best of the resources that are there, and your firm will do good. So I think these two are most important skills. Other skills are very common, which most of us acquire. Of course, you need to be social. You need to, have good negotiation skills. You need to manage your stress. Very important. You should have adequate amount of emotional intelligence as well. So all these different kind of soft skills are very much required for you to become a good leader. And when we look into our candidates, we look into all these different kind of aspects. It's not just the academic achievement they have achieved. Sometimes we also encourage students who might not be that good in their academics, but who have done a decent job in their previous academic degree. But they can showcase through their SOPs, or they can showcase through their CVs that they are having these additional skills. They have this market exposure. They have gone out of the way to make a mark for themselves. It could be in some kind of an extracurricular activity. It could be in the form of a job profile that they might have they might have held before applying for the of a particular program in our university. But it can be anything. So we look at all these different dimensions before giving an admissions for the students here. At DCU, our MBA is an executive MBA, so we normally require them to have a minimum number of years of experience. The advice would be, better given by the program chair of the MBA rather than me. But I can give advice for aspirants who want to take up MSc in finance, which is also an equally good area, especially in Ireland. It's one of the most robust financial markets we have over here. Lot of job opportunities within the finance domain. Either you do an MBA finance or a proper finance, there are a lot of opportunities here. So the one advice I would always give is, you have to be technically strong. It is not just enough or sufficient for you to finish up a degree if you enroll for one. But at the end of your program, once you acquire a degree, have you become a specialist in any one key area? Because we study so many things in a finance degree or an MBA, but at least you need to specialize, or you need to make sure that you have acquired a specific skill set which will make you stand apart from all the other candidates. And that is what I think that could be one of the advice I actually give. And the skill set acquiring, it doesn't start once you come here, but it may also begin even before you join a particular program.